So, welcome back, and this is going to be a non-streaming version of this series. So, let's
Just practicing names.
wow, really, Siri? I don't know what I said, but I guess I said series. Um, let's fix that. So, one thing we're doing here, if you were with me on the last, oh, we need a couple more crackers. If you were with me on the last episode, we have stumbled upon / been guided to a really nice Crucian gibble spot. Now, make about 4 stacks of this for now. We don't have the ability to use boilies, nor do we have the boilies to really make this spot work to its full potential. But it still seems like a pretty solid spot. So what we're going to do is, let's use the 8 out of 10 on this one. We're going to try using bread and this new Crucian gibble ground bait. So it's pretty cool. You could make this Crucian gibble ground bait from a pretty low level, obviously, because the ingredients are all like level 1 stuff. And I think that's we're just going to keep it 12 on that one because we've still got such a small rig here. But on this one, we're going to try the large hook. Now, the problem is sometimes common carp, and this will just do regular bread. Sometimes common carp get onto your bread, right? So we could catch some stuff on this bread that even our Lacerti rig might not be able to handle. We are level 12, so I will be thinking about for future episodes sort of when we want to transition to Old Berg. It is possible, though, if we can continue to make pretty good silver here, we'll wait till we at least have a second reasonable Lacerti or better level feeder rig before going to Old Berg. You can just get pretty frustrated with the larger species of fish that are a little more common at Old Berg. Although, you know, it's reasonable. Down that south bridge is a pretty good place to fish at a low level. So there's some options, but all right, this is our spot. So we're right back here at our spot. It's a little early to be here, but we're gonna go ahead and get things in the water and set up. Make sure the clip is correct on everything. And we're just kind of aiming with bread and ground bait on 2 of our rigs. Aiming just a little left of that grass right there. And we're using bread, although we may try some other things as well. So we'll figure out when we're going to transition to Old Berg. We may do it just sort of for fun. If we get to 35% on bottom fishing, which seems like we may be able to do pretty reasonably, that would be a good time to go to Old Berg and buy some of the boilies and then come back and see what this spot would be like even at low level. I don't know for sure that we'll end up doing that. It just depends on how hot this spot still is at that time. And how fast we do level up the bottom fishing. We do want to continue to level up harvesting baits, whether that's through worms and or crafting things like pearl barley and other stuff. So there's a lot to do, and that's one of the things you feel when you're playing this game. You feel it for a long time, is there's a lot to do, a lot to spend silver on, and really having to figure out prioritizing what you want to spend your silver on. I think there's a small fish on at least that front line. Not yet. All right, let's just check everything. There we go. So this ground bait hopefully will increase the chance, the rate of which we're catching things. And we're hoping that this large hook we have on this one might even land us some trophies. But we're still at least 2 or so hours in game time from the prime time of using this spot. If you want to know more details about this spot as a higher level player, or even as a lower level player on what you're wanting to work towards, I did just put out a YouTube video sort of going over the ins and outs of my experiences in this spot, getting many trophy Crucian carps and a few trophy gibbles as well. So I'm curious, once it gets to be nighttime and the appropriate time, if having this large hook and using bread with the ground bait, if maybe we'll be able to get into some, get lucky on one trophy or something. Would be our first trophy on this account. Let's try throwing just like pearl barley in here for a little while, just to kind of mix things. What just happened? Is our weight too light? That was weird. Just kind of mix things up, especially since it's not prime time yet for this location. Yeah, I think I made a mistake in an earlier video. It might have been a couple of videos ago. I talked about happy hour. Of course, this is a free-to-play account, so I don't think that happy hour applies unless you're premium. So I apologize about putting the wrong information out there. I think I was mistaken on that. Is there already a fish on? Wow. Okay, pearl barley. Let's see what pearl barley caught. Probably the same stuff, yeah. But that's okay. Just kind of variety is the spice of life. We could also put regular worms on, catch a few perch or roach. I was wanting to see if there was many roach in this area for experimentation for my main account. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll put worms on and maggots. There's a roach. On my main account, one thing I've been thinking about doing is trying to catch all of the trophies from Mosquito now that they've broken it into locations. So we'd have to get a sleeper, roach, carp, frog, gibble carp, eyed, which will be probably one of the tougher ones, unless they just happen to get hot here, perch, and then rough. I guess frogs could be tough too. I mean, I don't know. It's not hard to catch frogs here, but I'm not sure. I haven't spent a lot of time doing it, so I'm not sure what common trophies are. Okay. This is a decent fish here. Not a trophy, but it's over a kilo, I think. Nope, under a kilo. 871. I want to keep friction brake pretty low with low gear if you're fishing for things that you know could come up on the bigger end of what you're able to handle. Boy, these beginner gears, I mean, like, that gibble was pulling, and it wasn't even a marker. It's kind of rough. Alright, let's try worms. Oh, a fish just got on as we were about to pull it in. That's crazy. Yeah, there's a roach. Okay. Let's put worms out there for a little bit. Once it gets to be nighttime, we'll put bread straight across, I think, but unless we want to catch a few rough or something, I guess. But I'd like to get a good test in prime time here to see how well this spot performs on lower level gear, with and without ground bait, with size 1 large hook, with size 12 hook. Just kind of see what we see. It's pretty good quantity, but when you're not in prime time, in other words, when it's not the evening and early morning hours, the marker rates are pretty low. Starting to pick up around here. Alright, this could be a good one. Yeah. Ooh. I think we've got a pretty decent one on the other line right now. On this front line. Yeah, it's okay. You know, it might be interesting. Worms may work just as well as bread here, actually. Huh. That was a quick bite. We just got that rod back in the water. And we'll see, but sometimes in this spot it is like this just all night long. Nice action. Oh, we just had a fish get away, and I don't... Must have been on the worm? Yeah. Okay, so something small, probably. This just didn't pull. Guess we could turn them a little farther if we need to see the bites a little better, but it doesn't normally happen with the carp, the Crucians and gibels. Our comfort level's still so low from the rain the last time we did this. Throwing ground bait is not something I do a lot of, but with this spot being such a specific little area, it makes a little more sense to me to do it. Got a little wind blowing. We have to aim a little farther left here. Aim a little farther left. Recast this one. It's just been a while. Haven't gotten a bite on the front rod in a little bit. Wow. Keep picking up the wrong one, I guess. These little sparks are not great, but they get the job done when they have to. Yeah, this seems to mostly be a Crucian spot. I mean, even with worms, that's primarily what we're catching. At least during the prime time. I mean, see the percentage of our markers has gone way up since it's gotten a little lower, a little later here. These sparks cannot really hold any amount of weight. Lucerti, much better. It's actually a real piece of gear. two primary differences that I think would... So when I'm on my main account, we don't catch these small little Crucians. And obviously the size of the hook is not enough because we have a large hook on that first one. It's the bait. It's the boilies as well as the fluorocarbon line or leaders that I think is basically making the significant difference. And the fluorocarbon leaders, we're a long way away from those. Now we could save up for some fluorocarbon line, but it's just so expensive. It doesn't really make sense at this level. I mean, it would be such a luxury item at this level. We've definitely had a much higher bite rate on the smaller hook and the smaller line. And that's the other thing. This has, wait, 5 key, did I, oh my goodness. Hold on, I don't know how to fix this. Let's see, we need to fix this. I think I put the line on the wrong rod. There's a gibble. Alright, it's supposed to be that line. Small hook. Alright, everything else is correct. I'm glad I looked at that. Alright. So now we have the right line on the right. So now we have the stronger line with the stronger reel. Which in this spot it may not necessarily matter that much, but... see what this is. This is an earthworm. Oh, that's like a roach or a chub or something. Yeah, it's a little chub. So we do see some more variety with worms, at least occasionally. Any Crucian carp orders we probably will be able to fill unless it's a trophy order, which I don't think there is. So somebody in chat that's fishing in this spot right now apparently saw our video on this spot from earlier and just caught 2 trophies in 5 minutes. It's pretty good. So 39 fish in 21 minutes. Pretty good. Now, I think if you're trying to be efficient, what I would recommend is really only fishing this spot from about 1800 to about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And then try somewhere else during the other part, because this spot is not that great during the day. It's so many undersized things, unless you're just trying to fill a cafe order of the smaller Crucian or Gibble orders. Really hoping we'll get a surprise trophy show up, even on the bread and without the fluorocarbon line. If it's going to happen, I feel like it happens sort of past midnight and pre, I don't know, 6 or 7 a.m. So we're kind of in that range now where if it's going to get interesting, this is where it would. Theoretically, the drinks are supposed to bring your comfort up, which it is kind of slowly doing that. Hopefully it keeps going. See what level this person is. 27, okay. The main two things I like to target at Old Berg at a lower level would be the bream and the tench. But, you know, we're not going to have access to cheese for a long time. So it's a little more difficult to target the tench. And recently the bream at Old Berg and many places seem to be preferring garlic dough. So we're not there yet either. There's some red worms. There's another trophy just came out of the water. Just trying to see if a low-level player catches a trophy or if it's all high-level players, level 20. So these are all people that have access to the doilies. Let's just check all the rods here. Make sure nothing's just sitting there. So we've moved the XP bar already pretty far. Maybe gotten a, let's see, not quite an 1/8 of a level, maybe a 1/9 of a level. I feel like that might be about right. So we'll go a little bit longer on this one, probably about 7 more in-game hours, and just kind of see what we get here. Making sure there isn't something else I want to try here with the other line. Pearl barley. Having full comfort, so nice. You can do so much more shoveling. And it is not, I don't know if I've said this recently on this series or not, but you see I've got 1 point in harvesting worms here. It is not a bad idea to occasionally, early on, throw a point in there, especially if you haven't used your reset yet. I don't know that I necessarily recommend having harvesting bait points all the way through your playing experience, although maybe there's an argument for it when you get down towards the bottom and you're trying to get the more rare ones. But certainly when you're leveling up bait crafting, having less failures with digging early on can make a big difference on moving that percentage bar up. You see just right now the spot's been a little slower for the in-game last couple hours, maybe even just watching chat. Not as much coming out. Sometimes this does happen. You'll have a little slower pocket, but it usually still will pick back up here as the sun's starting to come back up. See if that's the case. If we don't get something soon, we'll recast the first 2 lines. you know what happened. I changed lines and so the clips came off. Did not think about that. We cast these two lines in the wrong place. Shows you that it does matter with this spot that you get it in the right place. Based on chat, I still think it's been a little slower here, but that may have been why we haven't caught anything on those two lines in a while. We'll see. 3, 7, 8, 10. Yeah, so about 7 in-game minutes ago we had a significant drop-off. Start catching some fish again. Thought one of the front two lines had something on there. Is that a false alarm? Might be the best one of the day so far. On this account at least. I can tell you it is not a trophy, but it's got some bulk to it. Nice gibble. Wow. So one thing I'm thinking about is that without the fluorocarbon leader or line, maybe it's just better not to have such a big hook. I'd have to do some more testing, but it's definitely something I'm thinking about. Well, to make very much silver in this episode, we're going to need to get a couple of cafe orders. Because on the fish alone, it's not going to do it. It hasn't been terrible, but it's not been what I had hoped for. A bream. Worm. Let's just check this line. Bells went off like nibbles a while ago, but nothing ever came of it. About another in-game hour or so. Slowly getting those points in harvesting baits. Wow. Probably should have done this a long time ago, but let's just put this back on size 12 hook for now. Should increase the bite rate, since it doesn't seem like trophies are very realistic without the higher level boilies. Of course, another difference in someone who's playing at this level versus a higher level is the amount of skill points you have, and that does matter in terms of chances of a trophy, according to where you have skill points. I'm still getting a lot of fish, though, in a short amount of time. And we are still slowly leveling up bottom fishing. This will probably be the last couple minutes here. And we'll wrap it up. We'll go back and see if we made any money, if we get any orders. Okay. 70 fish in. It's a good spot, even just for volume fishing, getting points in bottom fishing, grinding out some silver. It is unfortunate that we couldn't get a little bit more consistent large size of fish, but it might be worth experimenting with different size hooks, maybe sort of going in between somewhere, maybe around a large 4 or something would have still kept the bite rate a little higher. So that's a good order. 5 silver for fish that we wouldn't have gotten anything for. We were too short on the roach order. Did we get 2 small gibbles? Nope, just 1. And that's gonna be it, right? Unless, no, that requires 5 perch. Okay. So 52 silver plus the 1 order at least replenishes our silver a little bit. But again, not quite as good as what we had hoped for. But pretty good. So for the next episode, I'll be deciding if we're going to spend some more time here at Mosquito trying out different spots, or even that similar spot, or if we're going to venture to Old Berg. And we'll just have to make that decision. But as always, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again next time. Thanks.